Let's talk combat in Baldur's Gate 3. What do you say? The combat system in any game can instantly turn players away or pull them in. Baldur's Gate 3 fans have been awaiting the day for gameplay to be revealed, and it's finally come. In this video, we're going to go in depth into the combat mechanics in Baldur's Gate 3, and of course, there's going to be some actual combat gameplay footage shown as well. If you guys enjoy videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. I've already done 5 or so Baldur's Gate 3 videos, including a classes and race video, and there's many more to come, especially this weekend and into next. So the main question, the main wonder that has been going around since the initial reveal of Baldur's Gate 3 last year is what type of combat system will Larian Studios go with? The original Baldur's Gates 1 and 2 back from 1998 and 2000 were both real-time with pause-based combat. What that is you could fight in real time, but you would pause the game and do things such as give party members commands, rethink strategies, etc. But you could essentially go into battle and just kill the enemy without pausing at all. Real-time combat. Baldur's Gate 3, however, is taking a different approach for the better or worse. I think the opinions will definitely vary, but Larian is going with turn-based combat 100%. The reason why this can be so controversial this time around is for 2 reasons. Number 1, the old Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 fans want Baldur's Gate to stay more true to the original. Understandable for sure. And the other reason is turn-based combat for many people is almost an instant no. I understand that feeling. Turn-based combat was an instant no for me for most of my life, but I gotta be honest guys, when I finally put my closed-minded opinions aside and tried Divinity Original Sin 2, I found that turn-based combat can actually be extremely satisfying. Sure, the fast-paced eye-hand coordination reaction time combat I was used to is gone, but what I found is that turn-based combat is a whole nother set of skills. Mainly mental skills, strategies, and tactics, etc. And it's actually really addicting and can be oftentimes much more challenging than real-time based combat. So I urge the naysayers to at least stay open-minded. You may find yourself really enjoying it. Alright, let's get right into it and talk about the mechanics behind the combat, starting with how a fight starts. Once you enter into combat, whether you step in an enemy sight line or get into some dangerous dialogue that turns into a fight, once combat is engaged, the game has to first decide who will take the first turn. It does this by doing an initiative roll, starting off with a d20 roll, which guys is basically like you taking a dice. I think dice is both plural and singular, right? You taking a dice with 20 numbers on it and rolling it on the table in front of you, but instead the roll will happen on your system. You're not actually rolling dice, of course. That would be pretty cool though, to have physical electronic dice. I might be onto something. So both sides roll the d20, and whatever number they get is then added to whatever initiative modifiers said team has. From what we hear, dexterity will play a big part in the modifiers for initiative. And after the dice roll and the modifiers have been calculated, whichever team has the higher number gets to take the first turn in combat. So the dice roll is pure luck, but then the modifiers that you get will depend a lot on how you spec your characters, and you can definitely spec to try to make sure that you get that first turn more often. So now that the team that goes first has been chosen, it's important to know that all members on that team will get to take their first turn. Different from Divinity Original Sin 2, but I think I like the sound of this better. So yeah, one team will do all of their initial attacks, and when they are done, the other team will do all of their initial attacks. In DOS 2, a lineup order will be displayed on top of your screen, which had the order of taking turns for specific players, had nothing to do with which team you are on. It definitely worked well, but it also added confusion and just more time for each fight. Having one team do all of their attacks and then the other do their attacks simplifies the combat procedure, and also if you're playing multiplayer with friends, both you and your friend, when it's your team's turn of course, can both do your actions at the same time. You don't have to sit and wait. This will speed up the combat play massively and probably make combat more enjoyable when playing with a friend. Oh yeah, and also when it's your team's turn, you can swap to different characters at will. It doesn't matter who you use first or last on your team, etc. Pretty excited. Okay, so say your team won the initiative roll and it's your team's turn. How many attacks can you do before your turn is over? Well, Baldur's Gate 3 is also more simplified in this area than DOS 2, and that each player on the team will only get one action point. In DOS 2, it varied. You were constantly adding and subtracting points to figure out which attacks you could do. And don't get me wrong, guys, I loved DOS 2 and I wouldn't change it for anything, but it definitely added more confusion and slowed down the combat. In Baldur's Gate 3, like I said, each player gets one attack point for their turn. It looks like most of your class skills, your spells, your bow shots, your swings, your heals, etc., will be the skills that use up that one attack point. But guys, wait, there's two more things to talk about when it's your turn. There's also a bonus attack and reaction attack, which we are given 1 point for those as well, and also a movement bar. Let's start with the bonus attack point. Bonus attack points can be used on skills such as dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge. Come on guys, no one watched the movie Dodgeball? The real bonus attacks can be jump, dash, shove, dip, throw, and many more. So yeah, you get a point for these specific types of actions as well. So for instance, maybe you use a pin down shot with your bow, using up your 1 action point, but then you can also use your bonus point to jump to a ledge, or maybe even throw an item at the enemy, inflicting damage. Now onto the movement bar. This is a bar that controls how far your character is able to move during their turn. You can move before, after, or in between your attacks. Once the bar has been used up, your character cannot move any further. So maybe you attack your opponent with an attack point, jump to a ledge with your bonus attack point, and then you use your movement bar to get further away from the ledge so you're not in the enemy's line of sight anymore. Or maybe even you use your movement bar to close the distance between you and maybe a mage, and then you use your attack and bonus point up in their face. And lastly, guys, we can't forget about the reaction point, which is your attacks of opportunity. For example, if an enemy player moves to a different location, but in his path of travel he goes very close to you or someone on your team, you will be able to take a basic attack swing at them, which inflicts damage. This is usually an automatic action that you do not control. It's actually a really cool system, guys. Of course, it's similar to other systems, but it's definitely different from Divinity Original Sin 2, and I'm liking the way they are implementing it in Baldur's Gate 3. This will also allow for a much different experience from DOS 2, which I think is great. Alright, now let's talk about the environment. The environment will play a big part in this game, especially in combat, if you so choose to take advantage of it. You can shoot barrels with explosive materials in them, shoot down rocks off of ledges, throw certain items at enemy players, and also in the environmental category will be the verticality behind this game. There will be a lot of verticality, allowing you to get really creative with handling your combat situations. You can climb on roofs, shoot down from rafters, use objects to block your line of sight, jump off large cliffs if you have certain abilities to allow you to survive it, etc. It will be very interesting to see the creative ways that players find to win their fights by using the environment to their advantage. So how about your hit chances? How is that calculated? Well, when you take aim at an enemy target, you will see a percentage number above their head, telling you the percentage chance of you landing your shot. This system is actually in more games than you think, you usually just don't see it. The percentage number is calculated with various factors. Your skills and crit chances and dexterity stats come into play, and then the enemy's skills and which type of armor they are wearing all factor into which percentage hit chance you will be given. For example, if you're taking a shot at a lightweight, high dexterity rogue, your percentage chance of hitting them will typically be lower than if you're taking a shot at a tank type warrior in front of you who has only spec'd mostly into strength. In more nerdy terms, the hit chances are the mathematical percentages being calculated of your attack roll or spell DC versus the target's armor class or saving throw value. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite and most visited subject, death. So when a character runs out of health, they enter the down status. This means that they cannot take any actions but must make a saving throw each round. And if they win 3 saving throws before they lose 3 saving throws, they will revive with 1 HP. If they lose, they will die. What? That's interesting, but what the hell does it mean? A saving throw is basically another roll of the dice. I think it's a dice 20 in this case, and you have to win 3 rounds of rolling against the computer before they win 3. I'm not certain what the modifiers will be that will help you out and have a better chance of winning the throws, but I am sure you can spec your character in ways that will make him or her better at winning the death saving throws. Now, other characters on your team can actually help up your down teammates by using a bonus point if they are nearby, which will revive them with 1 HP as well. When you're down, enemies might also continue to attack you in your down state, which can make you instantly fail a saving throw, speeding up the death process. It's a very interesting death process to see in a video game. I'm not sure if it's been done before. It is said that there will be resurrection scrolls, but they will be extremely rare. Not something that you can just constantly buy and find like you might have in Divinity Original Sin. Okay guys, the last thing I'll talk about in this video is entering turn-based combat before you are actually engaged in combat. Why would you do this? Well, what it can do is allow you to sneak up to enemies more easily and also navigate stealth situations easier. So what will happen is when you enter turn-based combat and the enemies are near, you will be given 6 seconds of movement. and then the enemies will be giving their 6 seconds of movement as well. So for example, say you're trying to sneak up on a moving target, instead of trying to follow them in real time, you can enter turn-based combat, essentially pausing the game in a way, and use your 6 seconds to get close to the enemy that hasn't had their turn to move yet. It's interesting for sure, and from what we see, it will become very useful for a variety of situations. There's still a lot to talk about when on the topic of combat, like stealth mechanics, passive skills, etc., but that will be for another video. I hope I covered all of the basics for anyone who was wondering what BG3 combat will be like. At first, guys, I was a little upset that it wasn't going to be real-time pause-based like the originals, but as I watched more, I think I really like the system that they are using, and in my opinion, it's looking like it will be more fun than even DOS 2, which was an amazing game. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It's a huge help to my videos. More Baldur's Gate 3 videos on the way. I'm working on them night and day right now. I do all sorts of videos on this channel, ranging from comedy videos to gaming news to live streams to tutorials, etc. And it will be awesome to see some of you guys on a future video. Till next time, Wolfpack.